Welcome. Before we get into operational updates, I want to take a moment to thank all of our frontline staff and healthcare workers who are working hard to keep everyone safe and maintain our essential services. I also want to thank everyone for their continued patience in dealing with changes brought on by COVID-19 and this pandemic. These changes affect all of us, and it is through our collective efforts that we make a difference in the face of this crisis. We're going to have great spring weather this weekend, and that'll bring many of us outdoors to enjoy the sunshine and get out of the house. Please be very mindful of following the proper social distancing protocols while enjoying the outdoors.
There's been a lot of work being done over the last, however long this has been, week and a half with respect to our vulnerable population. I know we haven't spoken about that a lot, but a lot of work has been undertaken through our emergency social services, and in particular with our homeless folks, and working really closely with Alberta Health Services. Over the next few days, the Fritzick Gymnasium will transition into a temporary homeless shelter. The facility will provide more square footage than the current homeless shelter. The Fritzick shelter's location will operate the same as the other homeless shelter, with appropriate staff, resources, and services available to support those individuals in need. A block of rooms has been secured at a local motel to serve as a self-isolation center for the homeless population. So anyone experiencing flu-like symptoms will be housed at this location until they can be tested. To ensure the health and safety of all residents, individuals at the site self-isolation unit, it will be supported by on-site caseworkers, access to clean clothing, hygiene products, access to meals, as well as 24/7 security. When the Fritzick Center shelter is operational, the current shelter will be used as an in-talk safe sobering site. This change will triple the community's capacity to provide those services. All agencies are working with the homeless population and are continuing to screen their clients for COVID-19 so they can be sent to the most appropriate housing location. In addition, anyone who's tested negative for COVID and is homeless is being considered for rapid housing, which means they'll be expedited into housing placements and case management for those individuals who are at risk. Having safe housing where individuals can practice physical distancing is a priority. We've made some changes to Waste and Recycling Center. We know that people have more time at home these days and probably taking advantage of maybe doing a bit of spring cleaning. And because of this, we saw a huge jump out of the number of people coming out to our Waste and Recycling Center last weekend for the Free Saturday program. Anticipating the site could even get more congested this weekend, we have made the decision to suspend the Free Saturday program until further notice. We felt it was needed to protect the health and safety of both residents and staff to ensure we continue to follow mass gathering restrictions put forward by the Government of Alberta. This change means that Waste and Recycling Center will be temporarily closed to the public on Saturdays, but will remain open to the public Monday to Friday, but residents are asked to please only visit the site when absolutely necessary, and if you do, you must practice safe and appropriate physical distancing. Because it's going to be more spring-like, we want to remind residents that enjoying outdoors is still a really great idea, as long as you can practice the appropriate physical distancing. We've heard many concerns from residents about popular locations, such as Henderson Lake Park, that it's way too busy to maintain those distances. The City of Lethbridge is blessed with over 230 kilometers of pathways, and they're amazing. And we encourage people to explore those pathways through our Parks app system, because you might be able to explore a trail that you might not already know about.
Welcome everybody. I'm here representing Mark Rathwell, our Director of Emergency Management, who is currently at home trying to catch up, get a little bit of rest, as he's been very busy over the previous couple of weeks. As you know, the City of Lethbridge is still under a local state of emergency and will continue under this state of emergency for the coming weeks. I want to commend everybody for the hard work that they've been putting forth through these challenging times, and I want to ensure that the well-being of each and every person, including all of our emergency services providers, are being taken care of. I want to remind people here today that when you're calling 911, please be forthcoming with as much information as you can. Provide us with if you've traveled, if you have any of these illnesses, because that will help protect our individuals so that they can put on the required personal protective equipment, which will protect them and anybody else that they come in contact with. When calling 911, we are there to help and we will come, but please be forthright with your answers And when they ask you questions about travel, sickness, flu-like symptoms, help us to help you. Thank you.
And we have seen a number of our frontline officers who are in self-isolation right now. Again, we don't have any confirmed officers who have been diagnosed with COVID. We have seen obviously an increase in those numbers over the last few weeks. Again, some of that is through travel, who are quarantined or self-isolating to get through that 14-day. Some that have just had basically flu-like symptoms, and of course, following the City of Lethbridge recommendations, they are continuing to follow those recommendations to ensure that A, they're not bringing some sort of a flu-like type symptom back into the workforce, and of course, not spreading that through the community. Yeah, so as far as our resources are concerned, we have redeployed some officers back to the front line, back to the patrol teams to ensure that we have an adequate number of first responders to deal with any event in the city, and we currently do have that. So we're in no concerns as far as how we will be able to respond to anything in the city. We're well prepared for that. So as I guess mentioned by the Premier on Wednesday, he is enhancing police's authorities as well as community peace officer authorities to enforce the Public Health Act and breaches of certain public health orders. Now we're working with our provincial partners right now to see exactly what our enforcement strategies will look like. There's still a little bit of work to be done as far as before we can just roll out and go. So we are working on that daily, and hopefully over the next couple of days we'll have our enforcement strategy in place. I think the biggest thing and the biggest takeaway from that is we don't want to have to do that. We are urging our community to listen to the public health orders, listen to what's being directed from our local municipality, stay home, self-isolate, do what you're being asked by the province, so that we don't have to step in and unfortunately enforce those fines that are now increasing. So those are some of the things we're working on over the next couple of days.